Part 5. The Duke's wife is beautiful but has a dark heart. Author, see the peach fish again. Chapter 41. Chapter 41. Everyone is busy with their own affairs. The old lady was a little tired because she was busy with her eldest grandson's wedding, so she skipped greeting everyone. Wenfeng limped out and did not come back. He sent a message saying that he would stay at the Wen family's house in Qianzhong for a while. After Mrs. Wu found out about it, she quickly sent her daily necessities and a handsome bride. When the old lady heard about it, she snorted and ignored it. When Qian was about to give an account, and Song Shang indeed sent someone, 3 decent men and 1 woman. It seems that at least he is a steward, not a clerk or something like that. Everyone is very attentive. This is quite important. Wen Qian felt awkward, but he didn't show it. Yuan didn't want to see the scene, so she took Wen Huan out as a guest. Anyway, it has been handed over to the husband, let him handle it how he likes. Wen Qian decided to cut through the mess with a strong and sharp sword, regardless of the situation, just hand it over. What surprised him was, Wen Yu knew everything he wanted to do. Completely familiar with the road and know what the key points are. He had a lot of ideas and was embarrassed, so he simply crossed his legs, drank tea, took a book, and sat aside without even reading. After a while, the handover of the accounting was completed. The old lady didn't show up, so Grandma Song led someone to open the warehouse. It could be seen that it had not been moved for several years, and it was dusty and had a strong musty smell. Wen Yu was easy to talk to. After a brief check, he signed and then changed his lock. With a click, the contents inside belonged to Wen Yu. It was completed in less than half a day. The list was written in duplicate and ready to be signed. Wen Qian thought to himself, this time, let's completely settle this father-daughter relationship. From now on, we will never see each other again. In order to lighten the burden in his heart, he still gave Wen Yuan more than 2 taels of silver. The shopkeeper and manager are all doing their jobs right where they are. The people on this list are still needed by my father. You should train your own staff as soon as possible and replace them. You can take care of the rest by yourself. My father is leaving soon. If you want to see these stewards and shopkeepers, just tell the chief steward in front and he will make arrangements. Keep these 10,000 taels of silver, and from now on, your mother's dowry will be given to you. If you agree, sign this. Yes, Father. Wen Yu didn't hesitate at all and signed directly. Wen Qian looked at this eldest daughter with a calm demeanor, but she was so beautiful, he felt unstable and his voice was slightly trembling. After my father comes to Beijing, he will definitely be very busy, and everything at home will be left to your grandmother. Your grandmother has the final say. I have some things to do as a father, so I'll leave first. Yes, Father. He was polite, but he didn't say much. Picked up something, Wen Qian turned around and left. When he reached the gate of the courtyard, he couldn't help but look back. His eldest daughter was already discussing something with a few people. My heart is a little sour, a little painful, and a little lost. Turn around and leave, completely letting go of everything about Wen Yu. In a corner of the garden, Hong Xinger had just received 10 taels of silver from Nanny Su. 12 taels. This is a reward from my wife? Before she could say anything, Aunt Su asked again, what did you think about what I said last time? What? Hong Xing was stunned by the question. Are you pretending to be stupid with me again? Aunt Su snatched the silver back with her hands. Mammy. Hong Xing realizes her mistake. The silver coins in her hand flew away, and Hong Xing was shocked. Aunt Su snorted, you don't know what day it is today? Don't you know what the adults are doing over there? How dare a girl's family force her father and parents to do this? If it weren't for the fear of spreading the news, the reputation of the Wen family. There was hatred on her face. Hong Xin looked at Yinzi and kept nodding in agreement. After Nanny Su vented her anger, she asked, "Nanny, what do you want me to do?" "What do you mean I told you to do something?" and Su couldn't believe it. Hong Xin, I didn't expect you to be so confused. Is this how you should do it yourself?" Yes, Mama," Hong Xin said the wrong thing again. "Last time, after you finished speaking, Hong Xin thought carefully and did something. I just don't know why there was no reaction from my wife. She has already told her wife about her private meeting with Mr. Songwu, but she has made no news at all. Is it her fault? Who is the madam? She is noble and elegant, and has a kind heart. She wants to be the royal wife. How can she ruin the eldest girl for this matter? Humph, you have to rely on me. Even if you don't care about her life, you have to be sent to go to the temple. My wife insisted on urging me, I was so angry." Hong Xin said, "It's a pity that we missed this opportunity." "Mom, it's not like Hong Xin didn't do anything." "Well, that's why I've been saying good things about you to my wife for a long time." Nanny Su returned the money to Hong Xin. Hong Xin held on tightly, feeling so happy to have found it again. "Well, I have watched my wife grow up, and I have never seen her feel so aggrieved and distressed. I can also see that there are some things that we really cannot wait for my wife to tell us to do. For us, for the sake of my wife and ourselves, be more proactive." "Mommy, Hong Xin is interested, but I really don't know how to do it, please teach me. To a big girl, I am an outsider. If I want to do something, there will be no small noise. Moreover, others will definitely suspect that it is my wife's idea. So I really can't get involved. But you are different, you are here, come on, girl." And Sue's eyes sparkled. "You see, she obviously doesn't trust you, right? Next, if she manages the business, it won't be your fault. If her family is ruined, she will not be as good as you. Even if she has a good marriage, it has nothing to do with you." Hong Xin nodded, "That's right. So, it all depends on you." "Hong Xin, I won't hide it from you. I told you all this behind my wife's back. But in front of my wife, I don't say anything, because my face is enough. Now, it's up to you. If you provide useful information, you can get money. But if..." She came closer to Hong Xin and said mysteriously, "Can you take care of the big girl?" She made a sound through gritted teeth. "I told my wife to transfer you to the second girl. If you are promoted, the second girl will definitely have a good match. When you get married, you will be a dowry girl. In the future, you will either be an aunt or marry a high-ranking family member. Take charge." Ah, Hong Xin's eyes lit up when she heard this. "Is this true?" "Really?" she asked. "When have I ever coaxed you into doing something that I should do?" Yes. "Then I..." Hong Xin also had a gloomy look on her face. "Here," Nanny Su took out a small bag. "If you are really capable, if you get a chance, you can get into the food or water, and then, it will be over. When you and the old lady arrive in the capital, I swear to the sky that I will do it for you." There was a smile on her lips, as if telling a joke. Hong Xin didn't think about anything. She quickly and tremblingly picked up the package and put it in her sleeve. Although she is very light, she seems to be holding a mountain, which is her future. "I see. There's no need to rush this matter. Just get it done before going to the capital. It will happen naturally if you find the opportunity." Hong Xin was really nervous. "If you decide to do this, nothing else matters. Don't pry around, don't contact me, in case you are exposed. You have to be practical and hard-working, and then..." Hong Xin's heart was pounding. She was scared and hesitant just now. After listening to her grandma's instructions, some pictures appeared in her mind. The girl went back to the house, poured a glass of water into the teapot, and drank it directly. If she squeezed the paper bag in her hand, it would be really easy. Only Aunt Sue seemed to know what she was thinking. You have to be on guard against being discovered later, so you have to look for good opportunities. You have to know. She rolled her eyes. No one will find out if a girl's family is gone. It will affect the family's reputation. Think again, who in this family would care about her? Hong Singer understands, Hong Singer said in a deep voice. After talking, Hong Singer walked back nervously, but she didn't notice that Xiaoji, a first-class girl, was following her with an unusually light step, swaying her fat body. Just as Hong Xin was about to enter the courtyard gate, she stopped, hesitated, and then walked back. Xiaoji was startled, and he hurriedly hid and fell under the fence. It hurt so much that I dare not scream. I cursed secretly in my heart, this bitch. He's sneaky and must be doing something bad. I was lying on the ground and taking a look quietly. I saw Hong Singer entering the peony pavilion next to me, then looking around, looking up. What are you looking at? Xiaoji stretched her neck as much as possible. Although she tried her best, there was not much improvement. Hong Xin took out something from his body, then stood on the bench under the pillar of the pavilion, reached up on tiptoes, and put something on the beam above the pavilion. Then he jumped down and looked back and forth at the bottom. Looking left and right, there was no one around, and then returned to the yard with peace of mind. Xiaoji lay motionless, squinting his eyes and thinking for a long time, is this hiding something? It's so mysterious, could it be gold? Eyes shine. She was very patient. She lay down for a while and became motionless. Then she got up and bounced the soil, swaying left and right, and waited for a while. Then he ran to the peony pavilion in a sneaky way and looked up at the beams, but couldn't see anything. She also stepped on the stool and reached up. Can't reach it at all. This bitch. When you has already settled the accounts. Although he has learned a lot in his previous life, he has never done anything practical. We still have to ask Song Shang how to deal with these industries. Fortunately, I'm going to Song Jiazhuang in a few days. Take these with you. Then. Thank you for your hard work, these accounts will not be moved for now. You must have a good idea after reading it. If you ask my cousin when you go back, just tell him. In a few days, when I go to Song Jiazhuang with my grandmother, I will ask cousin, please give me some advice. I'll ask you guys to help me patrol the shop and properties these days, so that there won't be any chaos. Yes, we know. Miss Wen, don't worry. From now on, the sky is high and the sky is high, we will never see each other again. The heroine chuckled, you thought it was beautiful, but you can't. See you in Beijing. End of this chapter. The Duke's wife is beautiful but has a dark heart. Author, see the peach fish again. Chapter 42. Chapter 42, making things difficult for no reason. When Qian was about to leave, and the old lady was hard-edged for a long time, but before he left, she still gave him a lot of money. Although I have sent Songfu to clean up the yard a long time ago, there are so many people here at once, especially when guests will be entertained in the house in the future. The garden and hall must be made more presentable. And, if there is a good property and opportunity, you have money in your hands, it's easy to handle it. Yes. Don't worry, Ajin will have no problem doing these things. He will definitely not have time after being promoted, and he has to rely on his wife to take care of everything. But the old lady quit, this is in your hands. Boss, in all the years since she came here, Yuan has never served me as a mother-in-law. I can say the ugly things first, and I will come in half a year later. Jing, please let me know. If I don't have any rules, you'll be in trouble. Yes. Mother, don't worry, Ajin is sensible. Wen Qian didn't take it seriously. If you want to be sensible, you won't use Chen's dowry. How on earth did this fool my son into this? For a time, the old lady was a little discouraged about the life she was looking forward to in the capital. But looking at my son, I can't bear to bother him with trivial matters anymore. I just sighed in my heart, I really love him, but I don't know if that woman feels any pain. Take a step and talk about it? Until Wen Qian got in the car and left, he never spoke to Wen Yu again. Wen Yu was only among the sisters, and she sent her father off at the gate according to the rules. No matter how well educated Yuan is, she cannot restrain her grief and anger when faced with what she has lost, and is unwilling to practice Tai Chi with Wen Yu anymore. Just listen to the old lady's instructions gently. Wen Huan said goodbye to her sisters with a happy smile, and talked a lot about how they would meet in the capital in half a year. She even talked to Wen Yu for a long time. Sister, I'll go and familiarize myself with the road first. When you go, I'll take you to Haoerhei to enjoy lotuses and Zishan to watch the snow. Haha, want to see you in Beijing? Dream on you. Okay. Then we have an agreement, Wen Yu said with a smile, secretly making up his mind, if you don't let me go, will your family live happily ever after? What a beautiful thought. I'm going. After sending Wen Qian away, Wen Yu was ready to ask Wu for help. She first asked Hong Xinger to take Yin Kaiza to find Nanny Wu, who was next to Wu, and wanted to ask when Wu would be free. Unexpectedly, Grandma Wu didn't even glance at the money from the corner of her eyes, but said a few words in a weird way. Hong Xinger was already depressed because the eldest master really didn't take Wen Yu to the capital, but she hit a snag here again, and she wasn't angry when she came back to talk to Wen Yu. Wen Yu already knew that Hong Xin had met Nanny Su and had hidden something in the peony pavilion when she came back, but she only let Xiao Ji observe it secretly and was not in a hurry to see what it was. Now seeing Hong Xing's face, he was not angry. That's it, I'll go by myself later. After a while, Wen Yu arrived at the place where Wu's daily business was done. Aunt Wu was talking to a few people at the door. Mother Wu, is the second aunt in there? Mother Wu said calmly, hey, it's a big girl. Why are you here? I have something to do. Grandma asked me to find my second aunt. When you didn't bother to talk nonsense to her, so he came up and carried the old lady out. The old lady asked you to come here now. Mother Wu didn't care at all. That's not true, but Madam has something important to do, and I don't have time to see you now. Please come back when you have time, Grandma Wu interrupted her. Then, before Wen Yu could finish speaking, Mother Wu had already turned around and walked in. I thought it would be troublesome, but I didn't expect that I wouldn't even be allowed to see him. After standing for a while, there was no other solution, so I had to go back first. In the afternoon, she went again and said that her wife was not in the house. Going back and forth, it took a whole day. The next day is again. Early on the third day, when Wen Yu was greeting the old lady, he met Mrs. Wu. Second aunt, Wen Yu spoke sweetly and smiled sweetly, "Your has something to do with you. When will you be free?" With a smile on her face, Mrs. Wu responded generously and happily, "Oh, I will finish the housework in a while, so you can come over." This time Wen Yu went again, but Wu let her in. Going in and taking a look, Mrs. Wu was sitting behind the table looking at something, with two people standing respectfully in front of her. Wen Yu came in and she didn't even raise her eyelids. After a while, he took out the pair of cards and said to the two people, "Okay, let's do this first." The two men nodded and bowed, took the sign and left. Wu, however, picked up another account book and still ignored Wen Yu. In the last life, Wen Yu had never had any dealings with Mrs. Wu. When she saw her in front of her grandmother and second uncle, she was always so docile, never smiling or opening her mouth. Be careful and considerate towards your own children. Being noble and capable in front of the mother-in-law and housekeeper. In front of relatives and friends, easygoing and meticulous. What a well-rounded person. But now when he faced me, his face was full of arrogance and rudeness, and he looked like he didn't want to pay attention to him at all. How can you smile in front of the old lady? Second aunt, when you pretended not to notice and said softly, you must also know that you were accepted the mother's dowry. But now I am really confused. I don't know if second aunt is free and wants to ask for help. Please give me some advice. I don't dare to take it, Wu said calmly, without looking at her, and still turned over the account in his hand. Second aunt, I always hear people talk about the 10-mile red dowry you wore when you entered the house. I don't know how many newlyweds have envied you. In these years, you have not only taken care of your own dowry, but also taken care of the food, clothing, housing, and transportation of our family. Yes. Although you doesn't know what your skills are, judging from my grandmother's affirmation of you, you are definitely very impressive. You can give me a few pointers, and you will benefit a lot. Haha, this is true. After listening to this, Mr. Wu felt really benefited. She thought to herself that everything was good, even her looks. From the first time she saw her husband, she couldn't let him go and almost went crazy. In order to marry him, she worked hard. Now, her mother-in-law respects her and her husband relies on her. He has power, wealth, children, and everything seems to be fine. However, what she cares about most is her husband's friendship. But in the face of his lust, not only can't object, but also must cooperate unconditionally and take the initiative to make arrangements. These negative emotions have long since become moldy and deteriorated in our hearts. She despised the Yuan family from the bottom of her heart. It was so embarrassing to take the dowry of the person in front of her. But I can get my uncle's undivided attention. This is really unreasonable. What is envy, jealousy, and hatred? That's it. She was happy to see Yuan return the dowry to Wen Yu, but that didn't mean she was willing to help. Therefore, although the words were pleasing to the ear, he was not moved at all. I am busy these days, and the old lady is very tired. You did not tell me in detail about your matter. I will ask you again later. My dear second aunt, at present, you just want some manpower to help me look after the business of the shop. Otherwise, you can send 2 capable men over to help you when you looked flattering. This can't be done. Looking back, people will think that I also covet your mother's dowry. Haha, with what you have, you really can't do it. She shook her head slightly, with a pretentious look on her face. Second aunt, you knows that you don't like her. When you still smiled, look, you are so busy all day long, how annoying it would be if you were kept chasing after you for help. We are going there soon. It's so troublesome to go to the Song family. You have to be careful when you go out, okay? This is true. You go back and write a list first, Wu said directly. Second aunt, the list is easy to write. Can I give it to whomever you writes? What are you thinking about? How much money do you have at home to support the idle people? They are all given to you. What should I use? Then what's the use of writing it? Oh, that's right, Grandma said that both you and Grandma know very honest middlemen. If not, why don't we just look for them from outside? She seemed to be talking to herself. When you. Is this something you, a big girl, can do? I'm not talking about you. Don't be complacent just because you have some property in your hands. Wu was angry and frightening. Second aunt, you have confused me. You don't have anyone to spare, and you can't buy it outside. Then, what can you do? Didn't I tell you just now, write a list and I'll take a look at it before talking. Go back quickly, I have something else to do. Wu simply ignored her. The roster had been written long ago and was on Wen Yu's body. Just as he was about to take it out, he stopped again. It's not possible yet. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Duke's wife is beautiful but has a dark heart. Author, see the peach fish again. Chapter 43. Chapter 43. You understand and I understand. When you returned to his room, lowered his head and thought for a while. Put down the original list. These days, with the help of Xiaji's family, she has gone through all the decent people in the Wen family. The person you want and can get has already been decided. But this is just her wish. Judging from Wu's attitude, it must not be that easy. After thinking about it for a long time, I came up with another one. This time, she chose one of the eldest girls around her to be Lijuani, the eldest daughter of Grandma Song, who lives next to the old lady. Lijuani is very pretty and could have been a first-class maid beside wives or other girls. But Wu Shijuan was afraid that her husband would see her hanging out every day. If you really take a fancy to Wanner and get it into your room with Nanny Song behind her back, then you can't dispose of it at will. So he arranged for her to take charge of the fabric warehouse at the back. There is a lot of silver in the moon and not much work. And Song was also worried that the second master was interested in her grandson's daughter. Although she was not satisfied with this arrangement, she also knew that there was no better way. It's just that a beautiful little girl, how can she not want to be with the girl and her wife? There are many people who have the same ideal as Xiaji. There is another candidate for the eldest girl, Qing He, the grandson of the old man. This branch of her family did not leave with the old lady, but the old lady couldn't move easily. The person who helped take care of the affairs was the second grandson, who had given the old lady a dowry and was in charge of the affairs. There is also a younger son who is in charge of the general treasury in the mansion. It is impossible for Wu to give these people to her. Sure enough, when Mrs. Wu was handed over the list, she almost laughed out of anger when she saw it. Okay. She wants to win over everyone around the old lady, the housekeeper, and those in charge of the warehouse. Little girl, she looks so ugly when she eats like this. Also, what does it mean to release Lijuani? Are you playing tricks on me? Let me tell you what you are good at. The old lady said that she would allocate a few people to you, but you are going to take over the Wen family. How interesting. Wu's voice became shrill with anger. The roster was thrown directly to Wen Yu. Wen Yu hurriedly took it and looked at it in confusion. Huh? Second aunt, there isn't one here, right? I've asked about all the people in charge of things in the family, but they don't exist here. If he's not in charge, then he's not an important person. They each have their own problems. Humph, I can't tell you this, no. Tell you or, tell me who can do it? Where can I find it? When you held the roster, feeling helpless. You can go alone, I'm busy. When Yu's expression turned bad. Second aunt, if you say that, you will have to trouble the old lady again. Are you using the old lady to hold me down? Wu looked at Wen Yu threateningly. You dare not say anything, second aunt, it's just a matter of a few people, can you just show your respect? I'm so dizzy right now that I don't know where to start. That's your own business and has nothing to do with me. Wu ignored her. At this time, Mother Wu came in and said, Madam, our two girls are getting ready to go out. Well, who's going to follow? That girl Chiur. Well, tell her, go straight and go straight back, don't turn around. Let Guoqiang bring someone to follow. Yes, Mother Wu didn't look at Wen Yu from beginning to end. After Mother Wu went out, Mrs. Wu remembered something and asked coldly, Wen Yu, I heard that a few days ago, your third sister wanted you to make some sweet-scented osmanthus cake for her, but you refused to make it and you said something ugly. Second aunt, you didn't agree to do it, but she didn't say anything unpleasant. Oh? Then what's the matter with you? Why don't you want to do it? Wu said with a mocking look on her face. It turned out that she thought the father had been promoted, and Wen Yu had raised his tail. You should be honest this time, right? Second aunt. When Yu was a little embarrassed. Say it. If third sister wanted to eat it, why wouldn't you or not do it? It's just, third sister wanted to give it to Miss Zhao. Who does she want to send as a gift? What does it have to do with you? Wu stood up with his eyes raised and his neck twitching. That's so awesome. It's true, you can't see her like this on weekdays. Maybe you is overthinking it. That girl Zhao opened her mouth and shut up about her brother in front of third sister. She also said that her brother loved sweet-scented Osmanthus cake and wanted to take it back to him. You felt, not great deal. After saying this, Mrs. Wu was serious and agreed, but she still said, girls, we are just chatting over snacks and tea together. You are thinking nonsense, okay, you can go back and write the roster. I am busy. She started to do something, and when you had to go back. This time, she added the first two lists together, corrected them, and sent them to Wu. Mrs. Wu was pestered by her many times, and she was in a really bad mood. She lost her temper after just a few glances. What's the matter with you? I just rejected it, why did you still write like this? Second aunt, I changed it and deleted a lot, I replaced it with a new batch, can you take a look again? I don't have time to read, go back and rewrite. Second aunt, why don't you check off these few and give me the rest? Haha, you can make the decision yourself, why are you asking me what to do? Second aunt, when you also became anxious, if you don't help me today, I won't leave. Otherwise, I will go to my grandmother to ask for someone. Haha, who are you trying to scare? The door is over there, go ahead. Wu got angry and screamed. What's going on? Wenfeng came in with a sullen face. Ah, it's my second uncle who's back, Yu saluted with a sweet smile. Seeing that her husband was back, Mrs. Wu quickly stood up. You're back. Her ability to change her appearance is incredible. In one moment, she transformed from a mean and ugly shrew into a gentle and generous housewife. What's so noisy? It's not big, it's small. Wenfeng has been particularly unhappy these days and lost his temper. Second uncle. I'm sorry, second uncle, when you apologized sweetly, Grandma asked you to allocate a few people from the second aunt to use it, and the second aunt asked me to write a list. I have written this 3 times, and the second aunt said no, but I don't know how to do it, and you're still yelling at me. When you deliberately wiped away her tears as if she was aggrieved, but she had a smile on her face. What nonsense are you talking about? Wu said with a crooked face and fierce eyes. Wenfeng's patience with good-looking women has no limit. He looked at Yu with a pleasing look and pointed at her, haha, you little girl. Turning to his wife, he became impatient and said, if mother says to give it to her, just give it to her. Why bother a little girl like her? Concubine. Okay, come on, I have something else to say. Wu had no choice but to take the list again. After a quick look, she found that she had been managing the house for many years and knew all the people, things, and money. Without further delay, he picked up the pen and scratched out, cross out these few, and the rest. After thinking about it for a moment, he counted a few people. I'll give these to you. These few who are in charge of your property, months my family can't bear the money anymore. This is natural. But their physical bonds must be given to you or. When you said, hey. You. Mrs. Wu wanted to continue scolding, but Wenfeng was sitting there. She really didn't want to show this side of her to her husband. So, I called Mother Wu and handed her the paper. Find out the deeds of these people and give them to her. With a roll of his eyes, he said, you are still short of big girls, so please pass on the fragrant books. There was a second-class girl beside her who had nowhere to arrange things. Okay, second aunt, there is still a big girl missing from your side. How come? It's like this. Hongdu next to me is not a girl. Her mother is my mother's companion, and she has no legal bond. This time my uncle came back to recognize her as his adopted daughter. She is my god sister. No, it's a girl again. Now it's Yanzu. What a mess. Yanzu is not a slave. Hongdu still belongs to Yanzu, and there is no such thing as a physical deed. Wu really has no memory of it and has never paid attention to it. I have to ask the old lady about this. If that's so and so Zhu is not a slave, she will have to have an explanation around you. Yes. Second aunt. After taking over the property, you will let her go out. Okay, okay, Mrs. Wu didn't want to worry about this anymore. You have to pay for the carriage you want to use, the people the girl wants to go with when she goes out, and all other expenses. It should be right. It's just my second aunt. Yor hasn't bought any new ones yet. I'll use the ones at home first. After I buy them later, I can return them to my family. Okay. Let's do this for now. I'll give the order. Thank you, second aunt, you are so kind. When you smiled with flowers all over her face. Wenfeng laughed and said, hey, I'm good at talking, girl. She's very capable of dividing a pound into 2 pieces. You learned it from my second aunt in the past few days. Wu's mood improved a little when she saw that her husband was happy. Okay, you can take your body contract and go back first. We'll talk about it later if you have anything to do. When you breathed a sigh of relief and followed Wu's mother to the next room. Wenfeng looked at Wen Yu's back, touched his chin, and asked his wife, has the old lady mentioned her marriage to the eldest brother? At the Tianlong temple celebration in a few days, King Wu will also come when he is 1,000 years old. His eldest son will also be there. Not married yet. Mrs. Wu felt sour in her heart. Girl Yu is good looking. It's just that her destiny. Hey, isn't the matter of wooing or broken? But our family can't reach the palace. If you are not worthy of being a principal concubine, you can become a side concubine. All concubines are wives. I heard that 1,000 years ago, King Wu wanted to return to Beijing to celebrate the new year with Long Live Lord. The prince was in poor health. King Wu, after so many years, he has a queen, rich people, I don't know, he will have a great future. If such a day comes, what will happen to the concubine? What happened to my concubine? Chickens and dogs still ascend to heaven. Husband, why don't you think of our little girl for such a good opportunity? Wu complained appropriately. Jiao's color is not as good as Wen Yu. Master, if our daughter follows you, she will be no worse than Wen Yu. Tch. What the do you know? Beauty is in the bones, not the skin. Do you understand? You understand and I understand. He rolled his eyes at his wife. You don't even need to look at your face to see how beautiful a person is. You can tell by just listening to her voice and looking at her manners. Just the 2 steps when you took just now, Wen Huan can't compare to them. Wu Shi was dissatisfied. Before we go to the capital, I want to hire a good nanny for the girl at home. Just give her a lesson. Just say you don't understand. It's not something you learn, it's something you understand in your bones, right? You'll get tired of seeing beautiful women on the outside. When people get old and yellow, they don't even want to look at them. You have to be interesting inside to be able to for a long time. That's just Lu, she looks like that, but you don't know her. Wenfeng started talking on a whim. Master, Wu blushed and pulled the veil. Wenfeng coughed twice, feeling a little embarrassed. Ahem, I'm going too far. Let me tell you, sweet girl, find someone who is close to the family, useful, and has similar talents. It would be good to use her to marry her to bring the 2 families closer. There is no big use. Master, he is talking about his own daughter. How unpleasant this sounds. Okay. Although the words may not sound good, it is the truth. She can't sit still at all if she is too high. It's not enough to cause trouble, Wenfeng was actually sober in the world. But these remarks made Mrs. Wu very angry. Sir, you are talking about Jiao like this, and I won't accept it. This wife rarely contradicts him like this. Wenfeng didn't care either. If you don't understand, just ask the old lady. End of this chapter. The Duke's wife is beautiful but has a dark heart. Author, see the peach fish again. Chapter 44. Chapter 44 Getting Carried Away. When you followed Nanny Wu out of the door and went to the next room. There are rows of large cabinets and many drawers in this room. She secretly handed a 10-tael silver note to Grandma Wu. Mother Wu's face didn't look so bad anymore, but she wasn't too happy either. She accepted it casually without even making a sound. Then, I looked down at the list and saw the beautiful small characters of Wen Yu. I couldn't help but be a little surprised. The writing of this character was even better than that of the two girls. But the second girl followed the master and put in a lot of effort. But he didn't pay attention to it. He followed the list to look for the body deed. When he found one, he handed it to Wen Yu. But I felt strange in my heart. These candidates are quite reliable. Who did she listen to? I couldn't help but become suspicious. At the next glance, I saw Xiaoji's family. I was stunned. She knew that Xiaoji's family was the enemy of her mother-in-law. The second son married the daughter of the chief steward. Chief housekeeper Chen Xiangzhong originally had his eye on Xiao Jinyang, but others didn't like him. I heard that he was in great pain and regret for the rest of his life. The wife I married later, Mrs. Zhang, was also a domestic servant of the Wen family, so of course she knew about this. It was like treating Xiao Jinyang as an enemy and unwilling to kill her. Although Steward Chen hates Xiaoji's father, he still cares about his face, so he only secretly looks for opportunities. But that's not the case with Mr. Zhang, who is very aggressive and messes around without regard for dignity. Even the old lady knew it in the end. Since Butler Chen was so disgraced, he went back and gave Mr. Zhang a good beating. The couple was afraid of causing big trouble, so they didn't dare to mess around openly. Zhang's wishes to sell Xiaoji and his family separately, so that they can vent their anger. It's just that Xiaoji's family is usually very cautious, so they don't make any big mistakes or find any opportunities. The key point is that the old lady of the Wen family is very powerful and does not have any dirt in her eyes. The people below don't dare to go too far for personal gain. Since the sons and daughters are in-laws, of course they have to share the same hatred. Aunt Wu doesn't want Xiaoji's family to escape control. She pretended not to see it, skipped the list of Xiaoji's family, and started looking for the following ones. Mother Wu, where is this family? That fat girl's family that looks like short winter melons. When you smiled like a cute girl who was inexperienced in the world, pointing to the names of several people with her delicate fingers. Nanny Wu said calmly, there's something wrong with this family. I'm afraid I can't give it to you. I'll go back with my wife in a moment. When you said quickly, no, Aunt Wu, it took a lot of effort for second aunt to decide on the person for me, but please don't change it again. Whatever is appropriate, give it to me first. If you have any questions, I'll go back teach it slowly. Hey, big girl. These people can't give it to you. It's not that you need to work hard to train me, Aunt Wu said a little arrogantly. Mom, don't be ridiculous, it's my business if you give it to me. Oh, we are all busy, don't waste your time anymore. She had already made up her mind, but Wen Yu was still lingering. Mother Wu's face dropped. Didn't you understand what I said? The words came out straight away. When Wen Yu heard this, her face twitched. Aunt Wu, she looked at Aunt Wu intently, for a while, then she smiled mockingly, that's right. Why didn't second aunt just tell me first? You asked for permission and gave me the person. Aunt Wu couldn't bear this, and she instinctively retorted, don't say that. My wife didn't see it for a moment, but she didn't expect that there were some. I'll give you a reminder later. If it doesn't bother my wife, I'd like to hear you go. I'll just listen to my wife, no matter what. Wenyu said sternly and loudly, who are you talking to? Where are you and me? Having never seen Wenyu behave like this, Grandma Wu was startled and instinctively glanced at the room next to her. I'm going to ask my grandmother later. What kind of person is Nanny Wu in the Wen family? She is so arrogant. It's okay to be disrespectful to me, a direct daughter. Anyway, you always think that I am not welcome, no one hurts me, you just slap me in the face. I didn't, Mother Wu was shocked and quickly interrupted Wenyu's words. But Wenyu ignored her at all and continued, but you still dare to say no to the decision made by the second wife of the house. But you are so embarrassed. What's wrong? You want me to respect you as an elder? Okay. Now let's go to the old lady, and if she agrees, I'll give you the elder gift. Mother Wu was furious. Girl, why are you so stubborn? When did I say that? I just said the list didn't. How dare you, a slave, to scold the master? Okay, okay. Let's go. Let's go and reason with the second uncle and the second aunt now. I want to ask the second uncle. The second aunt went against the second uncle's words and allowed the servants to scold him. What do I want to do? No, Grandma Wu was anxious. How could she, when you said with a tearful tone, it's fun to tease and bully a motherless child like me, isn't it? Come with me. She grabbed Nanny Wu and walked out. At this time, Nanny Wu was so frightened that she really wanted to make a fuss. She said this to the second master. Don't think of yourself as the second wife's personal nanny. The second wife trusts you and is very decent. But if she really angers the second master, the second wife will not protect her, but will take the initiative to deal with her. With all the thoughts in his mind, he quickly surrendered. I'm sorry, eldest lady, eldest lady. This is a misunderstanding, a misunderstanding. It's all my fault that I didn't explain it clearly. Don't be angry, I'll find the indentured servant for you right now. When you sneered, misunderstanding? You, a dog slave, are you worthy of letting me misunderstand you? Mother Wu's face turned red. She hadn't experienced this in many years. His mouth moved but he couldn't speak, but he refused to follow Wenyu. Normally, for the sake of my second aunt, I call you Mama, but you forget about it. My second uncle, Grandma. Wenyu let go of her and turned to leave. Grandma Wu was shocked. She took 2 steps after her, grabbed Wenyu's sleeves, and knelt down. Miss, I'm sorry. It's my fault. You don't remember the faults of villains, so please spare me, all the indentured servants are here for you. Wenyu still didn't listen and waved his sleeves. Oh, big girl, you still have to do business. Don't delay any more. You have so much property floating around outside, what can you do if you don't keep it in your hands? Just don't worry about these little things, okay? When you stopped struggling, was stunned, and thought for a while. Oh, what you said is the truth. I'm almost dying of anxiety. Yes, yes. Big girl, here are the body deeds. She stood up immediately, quickly found the body deeds of Xiaji's family, and spoke to Wen one by one. I also gave them to the following people. Even King He, Wu may have been in a hurry and forgot about this problem, so she also gave King He to Wenyu. However, her body deed should have been given to Wenyu before she got married, and now, Granny Song has also given it to her. Finally, he returned the 10 taels of silver he had just taken back to Wenyu. Humph, it's like you're going backwards if you don't hold on. Mother Wu, what's wrong? You don't like my silver reward, Wenyu asked coldly. Mother Wu was sweating. Good girl. How can I do that? I'm so jealous of you. Aren't you, afraid that you will be angry? When you suddenly burst into laughter and pushed the banknote back to her, take it. Look, I scared you, as for that. We are just having fun, she sounded coquettish again. Hatred to Aunt Wu, who did she learn this trick from? This bitch. But I only resented it secretly in my heart and did not dare to provoke him again. When you seemed to know what she was thinking, and spoke the truth in a soft voice, look, there are a lot of happy events at home recently. The old lady and the second uncle and second aunt are all very happy. After a moment of confusion, Grandma Wu remembered what happened recently. The adultery between the second master and the fourth wife was exposed, and the old lady was furious. The old man came back and made the old lady very angry. The second master was even beaten, the wife was also very angry. Why am I so confused? Why are you causing such trouble at this time? But I didn't know this girl was so powerful. Haha, the girl is right, Nanny Wu squeezed her face and laughed dryly. We can only do things to add icing on the cake, but don't make things worse, right? After all, peace is a blessing. When you winked at Grandma Wu and showed a meaningful smile. Then, he turned around and walked out the door with the body deeds in hand. Wu Yan was sweating again. For many years, she was so smooth that she was a bit forgetful. Just now, that girl really wanted to drag her over to make a scene. The second master has been unlucky many times, and the evil fire in his heart has not been released. Even if you don't want to see she is your niece after all, how else can you touch her? At most, he said a few words and shook his face. But he treated me. Can't help but feel a little lucky. Fortunately I managed to persuade that girl to stop. He looked at the door gloomily for a long time. Oh, our feud is over, we'll see. Thank you friends for your votes and collections. I will work hard. End of this chapter. The Duke's wife is beautiful but has a dark heart. Author, see the peach fish again. Chapter 45. Chapter 45, Flattery. When you returned to the house and asked Yanzu to call Xiaoji and her mother without delay. I guess Xiaoji has been waiting for the news, so he came very quickly. As soon as he walked in the door, Wen Yu almost laughed. When he saw Xiaoji, he never expected that her mother would be like this. Nearly 40 years old, she is still slim and does not look like she has given birth to 4 children. His eyes are clear and bright, his skin is not white but very delicate, he is wearing commoner clothes, and his whole body is clean. When I stopped there, it was calm and polite, and it really seemed like the charm still existed. And Xiaoji next to her, is probably waiting for the most important moment to decide her fate. Her fat body is trembling nervously. When you waved the deed to the two of them and said, I want your whole family to come over. Upon hearing this, Xiaoji knelt down and burst into tears. Girl. Don't worry, Xiaoji will follow you for the rest of his life, and he will never have any second thoughts. Little Jinyang also knelt down and saluted. Thank you, miss, for your support. Girl, as a slave and a family, we must be loyal to you and work hard. When you said, I hope so. Get up. You must remember that only when I am well can you be well. These days, there are many things that I cannot control. I hope we can work together and get out of the predicament. Everything is done according to the girl's instructions. Xiaoji Niang's voice was also soft. The slave master asked the slave to send a message. Over the years, he has not stopped learning his skills and has been teaching his sons. Don't worry, it's your job. He's done it right. Well, there are a few things for them to do now. Little Jimiang was stunned. She didn't see anyone, so she went straight to work. When you took out a few pieces of paper, a few banknotes and a bag of silver. Although I asked your family to come over, I'm sure there are still people who won't be happy and regret it. So, I disappeared from them and went directly to do things. What needs to be done has already been written down. This is 1,000 taels of silver notes, and some scraps of silver are needed to buy carriages and other supplies. The basic requirements are written down, so let Manager Lee hurry up and keep track of the accounts. Ah! This. Xiao Jinyang was quite shocked. She calmed down and took it. Now that the girl has said it, my servant will take it and tell them. Okay. Xiaoji is the first-class girl beside me, and you are the nanny beside me. You are mainly responsible for the contact with the outside world. Yes. When I took over the bill, it was cousin Songwoo who helped me. Ask Manager Lee to find him at the address. If he is not there, contact the man named Ma Dahong. Ask Manager Lee to look at these properties in advance and be aware of them. Not all of these properties may be retained. Those that are troublesome and unprofitable will be sold out in the future. Of course, these are things for later. I understand, girl. Xiao Jinyang agreed, but she was secretly surprised. Why does the girl have such an idea? Well, let's do this for now. Remind them that the whole family should keep their mouths shut. Yes, girl, Xiaoji's mother responded, then turned to Xiaoji and told Xiaoji, behave around girls. Xiaoji nodded repeatedly with a smile on his face. Xiao Jinyang bowed and went out. Xiaoji. When you called her. Xiaoji hurriedly came over, with a flattering smile on his face. Girl, you give me your orders. Go and tidy up your place, and then go to the yard and see what's being said. Just be happy in your heart, and be restrained outside. Xiaoji's round face turned away and he nodded solemnly. Girl, Xiaoji understands. Well, let's get down. Not long after, Xiangshu and Qinghe, the newly appointed Wenyu maids, arrived, each carrying 2 large bundles. Hong Xinger came in with a complicated expression and announced, Wenyu said, one of us should come in first. The 2 girls in the courtyard looked at each other. Xiangshu grinned at Qinghe, but did not move. Qinghe put down his baggage and came in to salute Wenyu. Wenyu smiled and said, get up. Qinghe. Qinghe has fair skin, lively eyes, a slender nose, and thin red lips. She looked very quiet, more like her mother's son than Xiaoji. Wenyu found it funny and had already found out, Qinghe is introverted, doesn't talk much, and is not competitive. Careful and lively in eyes. She has very good potential as a big girl. When I asked the second wife for someone, I wrote your name on it, but I really didn't expect that the second wife would really give you to me. She also gave me your body deed. Hearing that the body deed was in the hands of the eldest girl, Qinghe was a little surprised. His mouth moved but he said nothing. Well, I don't know if you are willing or not. Let's do it here first. When the time comes, whether you redeem yourself or find a place to go, I won't stop you. It is Qinghe's dignity to be valued by girls. Girl, Qinghe will do things seriously and obey the girl's arrangements in everything. Tisk, look at this answer, it's really decent, and the attitude is neither humble nor arrogant. Good. Sigh, Yanzu only spanked the child twice. Turning her head to look at Yanzu, she was eating something with her little mouth moving, and her beautiful eyes were staring at Qinghe, wondering what she was thinking. Well. You go down and clean up your place first. My place is no different from other girls. He casually rewarded Barley with almost 2 taels of silver. Thank you, girl. Then, the fragrant book came in. She is in her youth, with a plump little face, and a red mole on the tip of her eyebrows, which adds a bit of charm to her. His eyes are very flexible. As soon as he entered the room, his eyes wandered around and scanned Wenyu, Yanzu, and the furnishings in the room. I've seen the girl, she saluted. Well, it's a fragrant book, right? Yes. You know what a first-class girl should do, right? Why does the girl have such an attitude? Xiangshu felt a little nervous and a little dissatisfied. She doesn't even want to come to this place. Xiangshu knows. Can you read? I can't read. Xiangshu's ears turned red. She is not the girl next to the girl, how can she have the chance to learn how to read? Well, you are the person next to the second wife, so you should know the rules very well. Once you come, do your job well, and don't let me find faults and embarrass the second wife. I will divide the work when we get more familiar with each other. Go down first, clean up your place. If you don't understand anything, just ask Hong Xing. When you raised his chin, and Yanzu gave him a small bag, which also contained 2 taels of silver barley. Thank you, Miss Xiangshu took it, feeling depressed. I didn't dare to do anything, just bowed and went on. Yanzu curled her lips and muttered, Qing, he is better. Of course, Xiaoji is the best. Is it because Xiaoji flatters you? He. Yanzu laughed so hard that his branches trembled. Not long after, I heard Hong Xing's slightly flattering voice at the door, Steward Wang, you're here. Well, where are you girls? There was a woman with an arrogant voice. The girl is in the house. The sound of 2 people walking. At the door, Hong Xing said, Girl, Manager Wang is here. Haha, it came very quickly. When you hummed, let Manager Wang wait in the main room. Steward Wang is the wife of Steward Chen. Her family has an independent small courtyard next to Wen's house, and she also has a maid. In the past 2 years, she has only held a managerial position and received a salary. But in reality, I don't do much work anymore. She is a rich wife at home, raising her grandson. But the Wen family servants, such as Hong Xing, still respect her because her husband is the housekeeper. Yesterday, Grandma Wu was so helpless by Wen's tone that she went out of the house to tell the Wang family the news. Mr. Wang came right now and entered the main room with an unhappy look on her face. If the girl doesn't come out, it would be obviously rude for her to sit down. But if she doesn't sit down and just stands here waiting, except for the old lady and the madam, she has never suffered from this. Fortunately, it didn't take long, and when you came out accompanied by a girl with a black and yellow face. He didn't say anything, just sat on the main seat and looked at Manager Wang. Steward Wang suddenly thought that she was smarter than Nanny Song. She smiled, showing her long teeth and hard wrinkles on her face. Young lady is safe. Speaking of this, the housekeeper's wife was also a beautiful person when she was young. She has good eyebrows, big round eyes, and an oval face. It's just that I'm getting older and my face has sunk. Big eye bags, no waist. He lived a prosperous life, wearing silk, satin, and gold jewelry. She also loves to show off her arrogant air of marrying well. So it looks shallow and tacky. Mr. Wang, what's the matter with you? When you asked coldly. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Duke's wife is beautiful but has a dark heart. Author, see the peach fish again. Chapter 46. Chapter 46. This is not over yet. The cold and arrogant tone made the rich lady-looking Steward Wang stunned. Looking up, the eldest girl was sitting there, beautiful and powerful. She usually didn't pay attention to this big girl, but when those women chatted with her, they talked about a lot of gossip, which was nothing more than being ignored, incompetent, being bullied, and timid. Why today? As a slave, she was a little afraid of her master in her bones, but the next moment she straightened her back. Oh, eldest lady, it's like this, the second wife gave you a few people. Some of them have been assigned tasks by the government, but they haven't finished them yet. The second wife didn't know the specific things, so she gave them to you by mistake. Now, the second wife will take back the deeds of those people, and I'll give you some replacements later. What do you mean? The second wife in charge doesn't even know what her subordinates are doing and whether they have finished it. And in a state of chaos, she gives people out randomly and wants to take them back again. Ouch, big girl, Manager Wang was shocked. Mother Wu was forced to kneel down by Wen Yu and was afraid that others would find out about losing face, so she did not explain specifically how Wen Yu tried to squeeze her. So Manager Wang didn't know anything, he just thought that the eldest girl wanted someone, and the second wife gave it to him unconsciously. But he didn't expect that now that the eldest girl said this, it would be spread out. If the second eldest daughter heard it, it would be strange if she didn't take care of herself. So he quickly denied, "That's not what I mean. What I mean is, our Wen family has a big business, with more than 200 people serving the master, and we don't know how many things happen every day. How can our second wife remember that everyone? What are you doing?" After a brief reminder, the second wife remembered, so she sent the slave. She spoke with excitement, but her posture was not high. "Oh, I was shocked. Even my grandmother praised me. My second aunt has been a housekeeper for many years. She is meticulous and prudent, and there are no mistakes at all. When I just heard you say it, I thought that my second aunt was confused and went back on her word, which fooled my grandmother. Why does she speak so unpleasantly?" "Girl, you really can't say that." Manager Wang looked in disbelief and was about to get angry. Wen Yu smiled and took a sip of tea calmly. Steward Wang suppressed his anger. It seemed that he didn't understand the big girl before. She is so powerful. Don't let her take advantage of it. Big girl. You see, the second wife, the housekeeper, is in charge of important things. In charge of people, she is also in charge of the affairs of all parties like us. How do you know what the people at the bottom are doing? Isn't it? The slave prompts after passing the second wife will ask your servant to tell you, "This is a person who obeys orders, don't embarrass me." Yeah. That's right. Otherwise, you can bring 5,000 taels of silver and take them back, Wen Yu said with a smile. What did you say? Manager Wang was shocked again. These people, I have arranged to go out to do things. They left with 5,000 taels of silver. I asked them to spend what they should spend on the logs and buy what they should buy. There is also a piece of property I don't want, and I also asked them to find a buyer. Sell it, I'm in a hurry to use the money. If you take away the person halfway, what will happen to my affairs and the money? Ah, no way, girl, didn't someone just give it to you this morning? Yes. You gave it to me and sent him out to do something. It was supposed to be done a few days ago, why didn't you just give him to me today, when you still looked troubled? Girl, what do you want for 5,000 taels of silver? Manager Wang had disbelief written all over his face. The Manager Wang, my grandmother and my second aunt don't interfere with my property. What's the matter? You want to count the money and check the accounts? Choked the steward Wang. Girl, this slave has no intention of doing this. You're right if you don't mean that. Wen Yu's face sank, with a pretentious look. I asked my second aunt for someone, and she checked 3 times. Why did she just come into my house again? At this time, Yanzu came close to Wen Yu's ear and muttered something with joy. Wen Yu covered her mouth and looked at Yanzu in surprise. Really? The little black yellow-faced boy nodded frequently. Wen Yu turned around and looked at Manager Wang up and down. That look in his eyes made Manager Wang's heart beat fast. Manager Wang, as you said, the second wife is in charge of about 200 people who handle big things. Then, are there some people who will treat the second wife like a fool for their own personal gain? Steward Wang's face turned red. She wasn't sure what Wen Yu knew, but these words were not good words. Moreover, I asked them to go to cousin Songwu first to take over the account. If the account is half received, he will have to replace someone. Hey, it's troublesome. With my cousin's handiwork, he can help me with these small things, and he is still annoyed. If something goes wrong here again, he won't be angry. Grandma will probably take action on this matter. If she talks to her cousin, she won't lose her temper, right? Ah. Lord Songwu also got involved. Does Guanxi Wang still know what this means? Even if I beat her to death, I wouldn't dare bring this matter up to the old lady. Finally, Manager Wang left. After leaving the door, his face was full of resentment, he spat loudly, and cursed in a low voice. This matter is not over yet, let me seize the opportunity, don't talk about that bitch, don't even think about feeling better. When greeting me the next day, the old lady said with a smile, you ladies, haven't you always wanted to go to Kalyuan Pavilion to make clothes? It has been decided, and we will go this afternoon. Grandma, you are so kind, Wen Jiao cheered. Grandma, how many bodies can one of us do? Wen Su also asked anxiously. I'm going to check out the materials and styles before deciding, Sister Jiao, you can't make several at the same time. Grandma, you don't love Jiao, Wen Jiao said coquettishly. Haha. The jobs that Kalyuan Pavilion can accept are limited. Well, like today, it's still the same master who couldn't make the appointment, so he sent someone to ask if our family can go. In fact, the appointment we made is 3 days later. Wow, it's great for a clothing workshop to do this. It's okay, we can go to Song's house in advance. When the girls heard this, they became even more happy and chatted together. When you wanted to talk to the old lady about his own affairs, so he came over. Grandma, the second aunt has given the manpower to the granddaughter. It seems that the manpower is enough at present. No matter how many granddaughters there are, they can't take care of it. The stewards around me are from Li Yuanking's family. The eldest girls are King He, Xiangshu and Xiaji. Li Yuanqing took his son and a few people to take care of the outside affairs. My granddaughter has asked him to talk to his cousin's men when it is convenient. The old lady hummed and didn't care too much. My father left some money for his granddaughter before he left, and she is going to buy some things, but she doesn't have any confidence in her heart. Grandma, can you send a capable nanny over to give me some advice? The old lady smiled, don't you have a good plan? It seems that you have a very good idea and a big heart. It's troublesome for me to meddle in things. I won't get involved. It's just that the ugly words are ahead, and the property is lost. It's not a big deal. In a girl's family, reputation is the most important thing, you have to take care of everything. If something happens, don't blame Grandma. She spoke softly, using the gentlest words and the harshest words. Wen Yu was heartbroken, but the smile on her face was sweet and satisfied. Grandma, don't worry. Even the third sister can go out to meet friends by herself, and the granddaughter will also arrange everything. Ha, do whatever you want, old Mrs. Wen smiled calmly. End of this chapter. The Duke's wife is beautiful but has a dark heart. Author, see the peach fish again. Chapter 47. Chapter 47 Broken Wing Cai Luan. There are now 5 big girls in Wen Yu's house. At the moment, he was showing various expressions in front of her, probably wanting to follow him to the legendary Kalyuan Pavilion. In the end, Wen Yu ignored everyone and ordered Xiaoji directly. Xiaoji, who is fat and ambitious, finally goes out as a first-class girl. Afraid of provoking hatred, Xiaoji forced a smile, which was a bit weird. Hong Xinger was very angry. These days, she was used to the girl taking her with her whenever she went out. But she didn't expect that several people came in at once and squeezed her out. Xiangshu, on the other hand, thinks that she came from the head wife's side and is of a better background than the other girls. It's her turn. Although the two of them were angry, they only looked bad and complained in their hearts, but they didn't dare to do anything. And Yanzu almost fainted from anger. Kalyuan Pavilion? The girl didn't even take her there? What about conscience? Soft and hard bubbles, Crying and laughing, none. All she could do was turn her grief into appetite, ignore Wen's words, vent her anger on a table of snacks, and then roll her eyes at Xiaoji. When getting on the carriage, Xiaoji was immediately shocked and despised by the gentle and charming eldest girl Chunyue. He covered his mouth with a handkerchief and smiled sarcastically. He leaned close to Wen Jiao and bit his ear. Wen Jiao turned around and saw fatty Xiaoji. She immediately looked disgusted and told Wen Yu directly, taking a girl like Xiaoji out will bring shame to the Wen family. Wen Yu smiled and ignored it, turned to observe Xiaoji, only to find that this fat girl was quite strong inside, not ashamed at all, and calmly maintained a decent smile that she thought a big girl should have. All right. In the past, when going out to make clothes, the fourth wife, Lu, was always the most active. She supported the old lady and kept talking about this and that. Now, she has disappeared, and no one even mentions her again. Now, I go to Kalyuan Pavilion to make new clothes, and she doesn't know where she is suffering. It's really good. Cai Luan Pavilion was originally a small shop. Later, the business gradually expanded, and it was renovated again. A woman in her 30s was already waiting outside the door. Seeing everyone from the Wen family getting out of the car, they stepped forward to salute with a decent smile. "Excuse me, are these the old ladies and young ladies of the Wen family?" Mother Song quickly responded, "It's our old lady and girl. The old lady is well, the ladies are well." The steward was dressed in well-fitting clothes, slim and had narrow sleeves, his hair was in a simple bun, and he wore light makeup, a proper smile and manner, and looked smart and capable. Old Mrs. Wen looked at her. Could this be Master Cheng? The woman quickly said, "The little woman is Manager Lu of Kalyuan Pavilion. Old ladies and ladies, please come in." Mrs. Wen nodded and took the lead. Going in, you will see a spacious lobby, with the cabinets and side cabinets in the middle filled with cloths. There are also several exquisite bamboo dolls on both sides with clothes on them. If you don't pay attention, you might think they are real people. There is an open space at the end, and pictures of ladies in colorful clothes are hung on the wall. Below are small tables and stools, as well as exquisite teapots and cups. There is a flower stand in the corner, with flowers in bloom, and there are 5 shelves with handkerchiefs, purses, wallets and other small items on them. The store smells very good, and it's the kind of very elegant incense. Qing Yishui's female shop assistants all dress the same and even have similar smiles. It was Mrs. Wen's first time here and she couldn't help but nodded secretly. No wonder the charges are so expensive. Here, it is indeed different from other places. Manager Lu said, "Old lady, Master Ching has something to deal with and will be here soon. Let me introduce you to the ingredients first." Mrs. Wen nodded, "Okay. I saw a relative wearing song brocade a few days ago. It's so beautiful. I wonder if you have it in your store." "Yes, old lady. The latest one, a batch just arrived." Manager Lu was happy when he heard this, and asked for good ingredients. Today's business is not small. When you looked around. Last life, around this time, she came here once. Haha, that guy Songwu is just sitting there with his legs crossed and pointing. In the entire Kalyuan pavilion, except for Master Ching, a group of people were busy with their feet in the air. She went through almost all the ingredients, and in the end, she was exhausted. But the proud way he looked at himself. I couldn't help but feel a pain in my heart, my nose was sore, and my eye circles were slightly moist. Asked a teenage girl next to me, "Where is the most convenient place?" The little girl also whispered, "Miss, please come with me. Going through the main room, you will find the backyard." When you winked at Xiaoji. The fat girl was very smart and pulled the little girl, "Little sister." The two started talking. After looking at it, "I guess this place is also the work of Master Ching," and it is more stylish than the Wen family garden. Girlfriends sit drinking tea and embroidering, it will be a beautiful picture of a good time. One side of the wing is a warehouse for storing fabrics, and the other side is the embroiderer's dressing room. The wind blew gently and everything was quiet. Wen Yu had just calmed down when he suddenly heard a woman screaming from a small room at the back, "Why did you just do one thing? How long has it been? I specifically told you to do these first. I've taken good care of you by doing this, otherwise it would have taken at least 2 months." This one was also a woman, but her voice was calm, not anxious or annoyed. "Ha! I'm just confused. I can't finish several pieces of clothes. What do you do for food? Do you do it on purpose?" There was provocation in his voice. "The store is short-staffed. Don't do this. There are so many embroiderers. Just the ones I introduced? Why don't you use it? The craftsmanship is not good. There are indeed many good embroiderers, don't you think they want a lot of money?" said the cold voice. There was a hint of ridicule in the female voice. "How can the craftsmanship be any worse? The asking price is much worse." "Why? Humph. I'm not sure what's going on," the shrill woman said with meaning. The cold voice also had a hint of impatience. "Mrs. Lu, in other embroidery shops, you can make a very good dress with only 7 or 8 taels of silver. In Kalyuan Pavilion, 7 or 8 taels of silver is the norm. A few hundred. There are 2 or even 1,000 taels, so why are they all the same? Don't tell me that, I can't tell the difference," the shrill woman said. "Since you can't tell, just let my cousin do it somewhere else." "Oh, whose business is the Cailuan Pavilion? Is it your turn to decide?" "Don't." She wanted to say that the dove occupied the magpie's nest, but she didn't know how to say those 4 words, so she changed it to, "Take the chicken feathers timely arrow." The cold voice was still calm. "Since we are doing it here, don't be anxious and don't get angry. It's useless. This has always been the rule in Kalyuan Pavilion. You ask me for rules, what a joke. What does Kalyuan Pavilion have to do with you? Who do you think you are asking me for rules?" "Grandma Lu, at present, Kalyuan Pavilion has nothing to do with you," the cold female voice said slowly. "Me, you, bah." It sounded like the irritable and shrill woman still had some taboos. Although she was very angry, she did not dare to curse. The cold female voice added, "I don't have to be the boss here. If you are unhappy, just go back and tell the master." "You threaten me." "I'm sorry, Grandma Lu, I don't have time to do this. The guests have arrived, please leave first." There was a sound at the door, and a woman came out. Wen Yu was startled and wanted to hide. But I saw the man in green shirt who had just come out and climbed directly to the 2nd floor from the small ladder next to him. "Scared me." She patted her chest. Then, I heard a shrill woman cursing in a low voice, "What's so big? You're a who pretends to be a coward with me, and rides with thousands of people." Vicious words kept popping up. "Madam, isn't she just relying on the old lady?" "How about?" said a woman. "No. We have to be careful lately. The old immortal is not in good health, and he probably won't last long. When the time comes, my eldest son will get a big share. If you mess around, let that Zhao take it. Handle, it's troublesome." "Yes. Haha, I have to think about it again. When the old immortal is gone, this bitch, where did she come from, and where do you want her to go back?" "Madam, how old is she? She is willing to go, but others are not willing to take her." The 2 people laughed sarcastically. "You don't understand this. Although she is not young, she is still quite pretty. I don't want money to be given away for free, how can anyone else want it?" "You are right, but you have to think about the young masters. Our young masters want to be officials, we have to pay attention to our reputation." The 2 people laughed again. Hearing this, Wen Yu turned around and returned to the lobby. It seems that this is a conversation between Master Ching and this Grandma Lu. Grandma Lu should be from the boss's family. But why did she treat Master Ching like this? You don't need money, give it away for free. The old lady had been watching for a while, and suddenly she was dazzled and a little tired. She sat there drinking tea. But the sisters next to her were very interested, especially Wen Xiao, who simply didn't know which one to choose. Cousin Hui saw Wen Yu coming back and said, "Ah Yu, come here, see. How well do you wear this material?" Before Wen Yu could understand, Wen Xiao rushed over, "I want this." Cousin Hui chuckled, then, "Au will do this." She picked up another piece and made signs under Wen Yu's neck. Wen Xiao took a look and said, "Ah, this is beautiful, I want it too." There was a soft sound of footsteps on the stairs, and a woman came down. Slender figure, long shiny hair like black satin. In terms of appearance, it is not too outstanding, except for the eyes, which look like a smile but not a smile, and are full of water, as if they contain feelings. Every walk, every move, the whole person is filled with an indescribable charm. Master Cheng. When you looked at her and couldn't help but marvel, even if she is a girl, her heart will beat wildly when she sees such a person. Although I know she is quite old, it is difficult to guess her specific age. Doesn't look young, but doesn't look old either. Perhaps, that kind of innate elegance will make you ignore her age. Mrs. When, ladies, Master Ching was neither humble nor overbearing, his voice was slightly deep but gentle and pleasant. End of this chapter. The Duke's wife is beautiful but has a dark heart. Author, see the peach fish again. Chapter 48. Chapter 48, Heavy Makeup and Light Makeup. Seeing Master Ching, Mrs. Wen couldn't help but secretly expressed wonder that there was such a woman in the world. Manager Lu leaned over and whispered a few words. Master Ching listened quietly and said with a smile, "Manager Lu just recommended the ingredients to the old ladies and girls. Do you need to introduce them again?" The old lady smiled and said, "I just saw some pieces of song brocade. They are really beautiful. I would like to ask Master Ching what kind of clothes they can be made from." Old lady, you are very discerning. Those pieces of song brocade are indeed outstanding. Master Ching praised the old lady first, and then said, "The characteristics of song brocade are gorgeous colors and exquisite patterns. But it is flashy but not dazzling. It's expensive but not obvious. Because of its complicated workmanship and low production, it has become an extremely precious fabric." When everyone in the Wen family heard this, their eyes gleamed. The price is also quite expensive. So it is usually worn by people of a certain status and age like you, old lady. There are some that are more colorful and stand out, and are also suitable for young ladies. And girls, a full-length song brocade would be too heavy and not very suitable, but a piece of skirt, belt, purse, or even shoes would be a good choice. After Master Ching finished speaking, he glanced at everyone. The old lady was thoughtful, Wen Yu acknowledged it, and nodded lightly. Wen Jiao disagreed, muttering silently, "That's not necessarily the case. It looks good on me." She immediately took her fancy to the orange-red piece with the Pisces pattern. Wen Huan wore a dress of this color a few days ago. It looked good. If I were to make a piece of song brocade, I would definitely surpass her. Ever since her uncle was promoted to an official, she has been secretly competing with Wen Huan. Old Mrs. Wen nodded, "What Master Ching said makes sense. I didn't know before that it takes so long to make clothes in Cai Luan Pavilion. Just now, when Manager Lu said that it would take at least 4 months for the Wen family's clothes to be made, she was stunned. The embroiderers in Kaluan Pavilion are extremely hard to find, and there are really not many people. Moreover, a piece of clothing needs to be measured, plaited, cut, pre-made, tried on, and finalized. Then it is first embroidered, finally embroidered, and finally you also need to add accessories, and the time is really short. If it is fully embroidered, it can take a year or two to make a dress. 1 or 2 years. Oops, that sounds confusing. When I was in the boudoir, my family hired a master to teach me, and I also made clothes, but it was not that complicated. No wonder your clothes are so beautiful, the old lady confirmed. Master Ching smiled modestly and followed without saying much. I wonder what occasion the old ladies and girls want to wear. Occasion. Do you need to wear clothes for the occasion? The Wen family will move to the capital in half a year. I'm afraid, they will have to visit some people's houses and entertain guests at home. Originally, we planned to make 2 clothes for each person, but there seems to be not enough time. Master Ching, don't you have any ready-made clothes in your store? Wen Jiao asked. There are also ready-made clothes, like the ones displayed in front, and as soon as she turned her head, Manager Lu and others took out several sets and displayed them in front of the girl. Things like this are ready to wear. You can make simple modifications according to the customer's figure. For example, fat or thin, length, etc. In this way, it can be made in a few days. If the dress is suitable, you can take it away on the spot. Master Ching watched secretly. Looking at Wen Xiao, these words were directed at her. I want this one. Hey, this one looks good too. Wen Xiao pointed at each item back and forth, her eyes almost blinded her. She almost shouted, one piece of each style and each color. Grandma. Although Wen Xiao was anxious, she knew not to go too far. Grandma, how about we make a few sets and buy some ready-made clothes? Look, these ready-made clothes are so beautiful. Just in time, I can wear them for Aunt Song's birthday party. Thinking of this, she was extremely excited. When she came out today, she brought her own small treasury with her. She was afraid of encountering a good-looking grandmother who wouldn't say anything, so she put it on herself first and went back to her mother to pay the bill. When the old lady saw it, she shook her head helplessly, knowing that as soon as this girl came, she would lose control. He simply ignored her and said, Master Ching, do you have any good suggestions for my clothes? Master Ching looked at the old lady carefully. Generally speaking, Cai Luan Pavilion will have something like what you have in the capital within a month. Moreover, Cai Luan Pavilion's products will be improved. So, you don't have to worry about wearing it out of fashion in the capital. According to your temperament, please follow me. The old lady stood up involuntarily and followed her. Master Ching found the fabric from the counter and said, when we arrive in the capital in half a year, it will be the Chinese New Year. But when you get some rest, spring will start again. So, my suggestion. She whispered to the old lady. When you feels that Master Ching is not like the master or shopkeeper of a garment factory at all, but more like a best friend who is discussing the current fashion. After a long time, everyone finally selected the styles and materials. As expected, Wen Jiao wanted the most. Wen Wan felt unhappy, but she didn't dare to compete with her sister. Wen Su is still young and quite tall, so we didn't choose expensive materials for her. Although she was unhappy, she didn't say anything. Cousin Hui feels that she is just here to wear clothes, and they are quite expensive. So the old lady asked her to do it and even declined. And when you saw that the old lady had no intention of taking care of her eldest granddaughter, and she didn't care at all. She was just like a few younger sisters. I secretly made up my mind, when my property is taken over, I want to do as many things as I want. Blind you, ahem. Master Ching took the old lady to the second floor to measure the clothes. As soon as the old lady finished measuring, Wen Jiao went directly upstairs. After she finished measuring, she talked to the old lady again. Grandma, there is my cousin's jewelry store at the corner of the street. Let's go there and have a look. It's only 2 or 3 shops away. Old Mrs. Wen said, let's go together after your sisters finish measuring. Grandma, they can go over after they have finished measuring themselves, it's just a few steps away, let's go over and let them send a guy to pick her up. She pulled the old lady and shook her. The old lady shook her head so much that she was dizzy. Okay, okay. I really can't stand you, he turned to the girls and said, after measuring, go out and turn left. You have been to Jinyu Jewelry Building. Don't go wrong. I'll send a guy to pick you up when I get there. Girls, just go there and don't run around. I'll punish you if you don't obey. The girls agreed, and the old lady took Wen Jiao away. At this moment, Wen Yu has made up his mind to get Master Cheng. Get to know her better first, and then look for opportunities. Therefore, she asked her sisters to measure first. Cousin Hui wanted to wait for her, but she didn't let her go. Going up to the second floor, she has never been here before in the last life. Originally I thought, based on Master Cheng's taste, this place would definitely be simple and high-end. But I didn't expect. Oh my god, this is a mess, the whole big room is full of things. There is only an open space in front of the big case where clothes are measured, and everywhere else, even the ground is full of baggage. Wen Yu was speechless, but if you look closely, your eyes are not strong enough. Various small paintings, materials, embroidery pieces, tassels, jade buttons, etc., each of which has countless looks. Never seen before. As soon as I got it in my hands and took a look, I stupidly read one piece and then picked up another. I was immersed in it without realizing it. I don't know how long I watched before Master Cheng smiled and coughed softly. Miss Wen. When you calmed down and sat down on the stool among the bundles unceremoniously, oh, now that I'm here, I'm like a mouse in a rice vat. I don't know what to do. Haha, girls like these too. Master Cheng looked at Wen Yu's skirt, with a hint of surprise in his eyes. Yeah, I like fun things. I wonder what kind of clothes girls like to wear on weekdays. When I was a child, I liked to wear colorful clothes. Later, I also liked plain clothes. It seems a bit extreme. Now, I want to ask Master Cheng's opinion. Master Cheng smiled and said, girls are born with a unique sense of style and can wear many styles of clothes. No matter what color they are, it doesn't matter what color they are. They are beautiful and can be either bright or light. As the saying goes, light makeup and heavy makeup are always suitable. Wen Yu actually blushed a little after being praised by Master Cheng. Master Cheng praised me. Looking at the girl's age, I'd like to ask, have you ever been engaged? In fact, even if she has ideas, she won't ask too many questions. But today this girl made her have a crush on her for no reason. Before getting engaged, you have to consider which family you want to marry, what your prospective mother-in-law will think of you, and what impression you will give your future husband. Not yet, Wen Yu said generously. Oh, Master Cheng stopped talking. After all, he was not familiar with it, and it would be too presumptuous to say more. The flowers on the girl's skirt. Changed the topic. Is this one? This is what I drew. My girlfriend who grew up with me likes embroidery very much, so she embroidered it. Compared to what Master Cheng has here, it's a bit far behind. Master Cheng made him laugh when you looked around. In the house. What did the girl say? The description of this flower painting is beautiful and the colors are natural. It is quite outstanding. The embroidery method is delicate and very confident. The girl who embroidered the embroidery has a very spiritual heart. It looks like it is quite good. She almost said it, then swallowed it. It's somewhat similar to my embroidery skills, but it's just a little less sophisticated, but it's pretty good. Haha, a little know-how is worth 1,000 pieces of gold. These are just survival skills. Master Cheng sighed for no reason. Oh, look at me, I'm feeling sentimental again. Miss Wen, can I give you a measurement? After finishing the measurement, Wen Yu said, "My female companion couldn't come with me today and she's angry with me. I want to buy something good and go back to coax her. Master Ching, please recommend one." Master Ching was a little surprised. "I am very happy to be a friend to this girl." "Well, if you want to be a good friend for life," Wen Yu was also very emotional. "This." Master Ching stretched out his hand and took out a small bag from a pile of messy things. "When I was young, I was not as busy as I am now. I embroidered some small patterns. Girl, take it back and give it to that girl. I think she will like it." Of. When you opened it and saw two small embroidery pieces. "Hey, this seems different from the one in your store." "Is that so, girl? Take it back and look at it." Master Ching glanced outside. When you understood and put it on easily. At this time, there was a sound of footsteps. "Master Ching? Have you finished measuring, Miss Wen?" Jin Yu's guy is asking. The voice sounded like that of Manager Lu. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Duke's wife is beautiful but has a dark heart. Author, see the peach fish again. Chapter 49. Chapter 49. Small Team. Master Ching personally sent Wen Yu out, and sure enough, a boy of about 10 years old from Jinyu Pavilion was waiting respectfully outside the door. "Let's go," Wen Yu smiled. The boy pointed in his head. "Girl, Jinyu Pavilion is right there, look, the tallest one." There was pride in his voice. "The streets nearby are the center of the city and the most prosperous. Shops are lined up one after another, with their signboards flying in the wind and shouts of welcome coming and going. Cars and sedans coming and going, people riding horses and donkeys. There were also many women on foot, with their daughters, maids, and male servants, carrying large and small bags. The restaurants and roasted seed shops wafted out various aromas. Zuzu would definitely be drooling if she came here. So I asked Xiaoji to buy some snacks. If you can't walk everywhere, then walk slowly." When you hesitated, looking back and forth at the shops on both sides. "Thinking that in the near future, I will be able to stroll here at will, I feel very good." At this time, several people came towards us on horses. There is a man at the head, wearing a bamboo hat. His head is so low that it is difficult to see what he looks like. A dark blue thin fufeng wraps the whole person. That riding posture is handsome and domineering. Surrounded by several people behind him, he was very mysterious. The group of people passed by Wen Yu and walked away into the distance. This must be a character. Wen Yu felt like he had seen the world. This kind of style is definitely not ordinary. The younger daughter's mentality emerged and she even looked back for a long time. When they arrived at Jinyu Pavilion, the old lady, Wen Huan, and the others had already bought the jewelry they wanted and were ready to go home. Wen Jiao personally held 3 beautiful brocade boxes, 1 large, 2 small, and looked at Wen Yu proudly. A gust of fragrant wind passed by her and went out. The elder sister-in-law accompanied the old lady and also walked out. When the old lady saw Wen Yu, she didn't say anything. The new wife-in-law smiled tenderly at Wen Yu. The sisters' attention was focused on the boxes in their hands, and no one paid attention to her. Only Sister Hui looked at Wen Yu apologetically. Wen Yu smiled brightly. She really didn't care. Just as he was about to leave, he was stopped by a female steward from Jinyu Pavilion next to him. "Big girl." Wen Yu turned her head, and the female steward smiled and said, "I was patronizing the old lady just now, but I didn't see the eldest girl." "How rude." "This is the store's apology to you." She handed over 2 boxes, the style of the boxes, extremely ordinary. "You're welcome, Manager Zhang, it's because I stayed in Kailyuan Pavilion for too long." "You're welcome, young lady. These are not worth much, just 2 baubles, Oh, one of these is for the beautiful girl who always follows the girl. Please take it back with you. At this point, when you couldn't refuse anymore, Manager Zhang is really interested. The female steward personally accompanied her when she went out and got into the car. When we got to the car, Wen Jiao saw it and asked, "Sister, what are you talking about?" "Free gifts from the store." Wen Jiao looked at the two broken boxes and curled her lips. "You want this too?" She looked down on them. Qi Wulang, who was doing some inexplicable business, was walking on the busiest street in the area when he suddenly smelled a very nice fragrance. Vaguely smells like cousin Lian Yu. But he only thought about it in his mind and didn't think much about it. These days, he has recovered. The Fan Lu in front is the most expensive restaurant in the area. Dismounted the horse, flicked the reins, and strode directly to the private room on the third floor. After returning home, Yan Zhu's eyes lit up when she saw Wen Yu coming back, but she didn't want to let it go, so she quickly turned her head and pouted again. Wen Yu ignored her, changed his clothes, and drank tea. Let Ziaji share the snacks he bought with everyone and send them all away before taking out the things from Jinyu Pavilion. I couldn't help but sigh, who would regard this as a toy? 2 pieces of white jade jewelry, a bracelet, and a jade lock. The jade is white and waxy, and feels warm to the touch. The bracelet is wide and thick, and the jade lock is exquisitely carved. It doesn't look vulgar at first glance. She knew that this guy Song Shang must have given the order to the store early in the morning. Turns around to look at Yanzu, still angry? "Zuzu, do you choose the same bracelet or jade lock?" "Oh, it's better to say goodbye. I want this bracelet, so you can keep the jade lock, right?" Yanzu's eyes immediately widened. "Bracelet," she immediately ran over. "Ah. Jade bracelet. Girl, but I really want the bracelet. I have the jade lock my mother left for me around my neck. No matter how nice it is, the jade lock cannot be replaced. Can you give me the bracelet?" "Then are you still angry?" Yanzu hesitated and didn't want to let it go. "So when you took out snacks and embroidery pieces from Kalyuan Pavilion?" Yanzu was immediately happy. "I'm not angry anymore. My God, this embroidery piece is so beautiful. Why is it embroidered?" She took it and looked at it carefully. After a while, she turned around and said, "Ayu, when you go to the Song family, you have to take me with you, right?" "Haha, poor little boy. Okay, I'll take you with me." "Ah, that's great." Zuzu is happier today than in the Chinese New Year. She put on the bracelet beautifully, admired it for a while, and then looked at the embroidery piece carefully. "Next time, I will embroider this for you." "Oops, I might still won't." "Remember, don't put the bracelet on yet." Yeah. Xiaoji's father Li's ability to manage affairs is really not something to be boasted about. After sending the letter, in just 2 days, all the things Wen Yu told me were done. Accompanied by Xiao Jinyang, Xiaoji, and Yanzu, Wen Yu went out of the second door and finally saw the father and son. Ziaji Daddy has a perfect image of being in charge of things. Medium build, quite thin, clean cloth clothes and shoes. He has sharp eyes and a short beard. A natural smile on his face. Xiaoji's brothers really look alike, and all of them are outstanding. Fair and clean, with black eyes and a straight figure. As for Xiaoji, Yanzu looked around and sighed with Xiaoji, asking her how she grew. Manager Li took his son and bowed according to the rules, and briefly talked about what happened during this period. "We have contacted Fifth Master Song's people, and we have also gone to take a look at the property. What Fifth Master Song means is that we will discuss it in detail with you when you go to Song Jiazhuang in a few days." "Talk in detail? What else are you talking about?" "I have someone on hand. Just hand it over." When you complained a few words, but could only nod silently. "Go out of this door and turn right. The 4th house in Shuijing Lane is our newly rented courtyard. Our family and a few other people have moved there. Okay when you nodded. And this one? Manager Lee pointed to a man in his 40s next to him. His name is Sun Ying. He is the master of our Genuine Escort Bureau. He is a local. He has parents, wife, and children, and even grandchildren. He has no bad habits and he knows everything. I plan to let him follow you when you go out. First of all, please come and see people. When you took a look and saw that the man had an ordinary appearance, was very strong, and had a serious look in his eyes. Master Sunday. Miss, Master Sun saluted with his hands raised, with a sense of joy. Have the salary been negotiated yet? She asked Manager Lee. They are all market prices negotiated. Okay, I'll have to work hard for Master Sun from now on. Master Sun said a few polite words, but he was amused. Where can a girl go? What can you do? What's the hard work? This is a task of sitting back and counting money in peace, he he. These are the carriages and horses I bought. Brand new. Manager Lee's voice was full of joy. Regarding the carriage, men in ancient and modern times are probably the same. The appearance and materials of the car are not outstanding, it is just new inside and out. Clean, solid, and compact. The seats are convenient and hung with bamboo curtains. It looks very practical. Well, yes, that's what I want. The gate of the small courtyard rented over there is very big, and the car can be placed directly in the courtyard among the people who rented it for you. There is a man named Taizu who can drive, my second brother can also drive. I can take my own car when I go to Songjiazhuang this time, when you was very happy. Yes. I bought a horse and a donkey. The donkey is very convenient for us to do things. If we don't use it, it will be easy to get rid of it. This was not mentioned in advance, so Manager Lee was worried that the girl would blame him for making the decision without permission. Why not buy them all as horses, when you asked? Haha, the price of horses and the daily maintenance of horses are much more expensive, but the use is about the same. The horse is good looking. Yanzu looked at the little donkey with disgust. The little donkey felt her unkind eyes and brayed several times. Everyone laughed. One is missing, so buy another one. It can be a horse or a donkey. I want to go far away, and Master Sun has to ride to keep up. Yes. This is a letter from Mr. Song Wu. He said to take these with you when you go to Songjiazhuang. He will discuss the specific matters with you in detail. All right. When the hero and heroine met for the first time, no one understood the other. End of this chapter. The Duke's wife is beautiful but has a dark heart. Author, see the peach fish again. Chapter 50. Chapter 50, Old Friends Again. Songjiazhuang is not close to the Wen family, so we need to stay on the road for 2 nights. The old lady of the Wen family set off with her eldest grandson, his eldest grandson's daughter-in-law Li, and several granddaughters. I plan to go early and stay at the Song family for a few days. There are the Song family's villas and inns along the way. Song Shang should have given instructions in advance to pick up and drop off the Wen family along the way. Everything was well arranged. This makes Mrs. Wen feel very proud. If it weren't for the fine tea sets in the house, the exquisite bedding, and the exquisite midnight snacks that only she had, when you would really believe that Song Shang was giving face to his grandmother. These special treatments made her feel a little weak. Even though I have made up my mind, I still don't know what to do when these things happen. Yanzu and Xiaoji were extremely satisfied. Yanzu kept praising, Song Wei is so interesting. Xiaoji nodded while eating. She would wrap up all the leftovers from Yanzu. This time when he came out, Wen Yu still nodded at Xiaoji, with an unquestionable expression on his face. With Webster's character, he still doesn't know what he will do to himself. You must surround yourself with people who follow you. King He finally understood. Xiaoji and his whole family were working with the girl, so of course they trusted her the most. I have nothing to fight for. Hong Xing, on the other hand, was angry and gloomy for a long time. She walked around the peony pavilion for a long time, looking at the beam, accumulating reasons for herself to take action in the future. Xiaoji's second brother drove the cart, and Master Sun rode a donkey to follow behind the cart. Old Mrs. Wen was stunned again when she saw it. This girl is so weird. Well. After walking for 2 days, we were almost at Songjiazhuang. The carriage was traveling on a path along the lake. On one side are weeping willows by the lake, and further into the lake are lotus flowers. On the other side are flower trees, and further inside are rice plants. The girls, even Mrs. Wen, raised the car curtains and admired the scenery along the way. After walking for a long time, I saw a large house at one end of the lake in the distance. That was the Song family. When you stared blankly into the distance. Song Shang's father was Song Rupeng. He was the eldest son of the Song family and had a high status in the Song family. Although Mrs. Song was not from a high family background, her natal family owned a kill and was very prosperous. It was Song Rupeng who chose the two of them to get engaged. The relationship between husband and wife is very good. More than a year after getting married, Mrs. Song gave birth to a son, Song Shang's eldest brother Song Chen. At that time, the Song family had gradually expanded its business from a small wealthy family, and became quite wealthy. Then, something happened to Song Rupeng while he was out on business, and he died. At that time, Mrs. Song was pregnant with Song Shang. Not long after the funeral, Song Chen, who was less than 2 years old, fell into the lake and drowned without supervision. If Song Rupeng's death can still be regarded as an accident, then Song Chen's death is obviously caused by someone, and it should be the Song family. Mrs. Song is usually weak and naive. Without her husband as her backbone, she almost cannot survive. But the death of her eldest son woke her up again. It is truly said that a mother is as strong as steel. She took all kinds of precautions to protect this fetus. From the time Song Shang was born until he grew up, he experienced countless dangers. Although the Song family's fortune has grown rapidly, several people have really died. Including Song Shang's second brother, his second uncle's eldest son Song Jian. Still remember him? When you suddenly had an idea in his mind, and the tall and strong Song Jian appeared in his mind, he was so afraid of him at that time. I just remembered something. But she heard Yanzu shouting, "Hey, hey, hey. Ayu, Ayu, look, several people are coming to greet us, eh." The one leading the way is the fifth master. She put up an awning with her hands and watched carefully. When you leaned forward and took a look, and it turned out to be Song Shang. He took several of his men and ran all the way, arriving at the old lady's carriage. I couldn't hear what he was saying, but I just looked very happy and looked at him from a distance with his mouth full of white teeth. When you looked at him blankly, and suddenly saw him turn to one side and look at her, shrinking his neck in fright. Yanzu stretched her neck out for her. Seeing Song Shang looking here, she waved vigorously to Song Shang. He, this girl is not afraid of him at all. The convoy moved forward again. Song Shang was sitting on his horse and did not move at the same place. Wen Yu's carriage was at the end. When he reached the front, he picked up the reins and followed Wen Yu's carriage. Is this a Yu's new carriage? Before Wen Yu could say anything, Yanzu said proudly, "Fifth master, this is our new car. Doesn't it look good?" Song Shang was dissatisfied. "Excellent. Hongdu, your taste is not good." "Fifth master. My name is not Hongdu now, my name is Yanzu. It was named by Ayu, who called me Zuzu." Yanzu, Song Shang was a little strange. He really didn't know about this. "Okay. Then I'll follow Ayu and call you Zuzu, okay." Yanzu giggled, as beautiful as the lotus in the lake. Wen Yu shook her head, "As long as she is happy." A group of people entered the Song family and came to a large courtyard. Every time the Wen family comes, they stay here. Song Shang said to Mrs. Wen, "Auntie, please rest for a while. Someone will pick you up soon and take you to Chunyui courtyard. Mother is waiting for you there." The old lady nodded in agreement. Song Shang ordered his servants, then glanced at Wen Yu and rode away happily. The girls lived in the old lady's backyard. Each of them had 3 small rooms. The mother-in-law and the girl have already prepared hot and cold water. Yanzu moved very quickly and finished cleaning up herself first in a short while. Xiaoji also served Wen Yu and finished washing her face, and Yanzu came to comb her hair. Wen Yu ordered a set of clothes. As soon as he put them on, a girl came and called. The old lady asked the girls to go to the front, they are going out. The Song family is very big, so everyone walked for a while before arriving at Chunyui courtyard. As soon as you enter the courtyard gate, you will see the yard full of flowers and a large pot of koi carp. Wealthy and peaceful, Song Shang was really attentive to his mother. He is a son who is not easy to bring up, but he is much more filial than his father. Everything has been arranged. Mrs. Song does not have to worry about anything. If she has another grandson, her life will be perfect. There was a woman and a girl who welcomed the Wen family and the others in with a smile. Mrs. Song had already stood up and walked to the door, and "You are here," the voice was full of joy. Mrs. Wen also had a soft smile on her face and walked a few steps closer. "Xiang Si, I haven't seen you for a while, how are you?" "And, everything is fine with me, tisk, you are in great spirits now that you are married to your eldest grandson's daughter-in-law, you look like you are several years younger." "Ha ha ha ha, no wonder brother Shang speaks so nicely, I learned it from a mother like you." The 2 women were very affectionate when they met. They sat down together holding hands and had a small talk. When you glanced at the little girl sitting next to Mrs. Song, Song Shihan, the daughter of Song Shang and Wei. She is just 4 years old now, with 2 buns, a pink gauze tie, and a pink butterfly shirt. Small round face, single eyelids. The skin is very white, and there are cyan blood vessel marks on the eyelids. Hand appearance is not outstanding, but at a young age, he can sit upright. The little face is sullen and very arrogant. He didn't even smile at the Wen family who had just walked in. They seemed unhappy. "Haha, she is always unhappy." Old Mrs. Wen grandly introduced her eldest grandson-in-law. The eldest daughter-in-law has gone to the capital. The second daughter-in-law is looking after the house. I brought brother Feng and his wife. Let her recognize her aunt's family. Ouch, let me see. As soon as Mrs. Song stretched out her hand, Mrs. Li came over with a peach-like face. Mrs. Song liked it in her heart. "Yeah. Good. Good. You look good." The newlywed couple bowed to her. Mrs. Song took a box from the person next to her. "Brother Feng and his wife, let's wear it and play with it." Mrs. Wen hurriedly said, "Brother Shang brought your gift. It's not the same. I'm so happy to see this new wife." "Sister Han? Come on. Call someone, this is your great aunt. And this is your uncle and Aunt Feng." But the little girl remained proud, and the girl beside her quickly helped her down from her seat. She ducked away irritably, glared at the girl, and then reluctantly jumped off the seat. She bowed, and although her movements were very formal, her reluctance could still be seen. Old Mrs. Wen laughed and said, "Xiao Han'er, do you still remember your great aunt?" Song Shihan said nothing. Mrs. Song said, "Sister Han? Why don't you speak?" Old Mrs. Wen took a small stuffed doll from Mother Song. "I saw this when I went to Kalyuan Pavilion a few days ago. It's true, there are people who do this. It's fun to look at. Sister Han." Song Shihan became happy when he saw the puppet wearing beautiful clothes. "Thank you, great-grandmother." He thanked her softly. Then he took it and started playing with it. When you looked at the little girl who was happily playing with her dolls, but in her mind she could see her harsh expression, harsh words and curses towards herself in the previous life. Finally, the kicking and punching in the cell. End of this chapter.